Hey, how's it going? So, today I'll be discussing my two favorite directors of the semester, comparing and contrasting. With that in mind, I'll be discussing Stanislavsky and Antoine. Keep in mind I'm very awful at pronouncing Stanislavsky sometimes, so please bear with me, and I have a little bit of cold, so please bear with me. Anyway, both Stanislavsky and Antoine definitely had a passion and drive when it came to expressing authentic action on the stage. They would both agree, I would say so, that acting literally means reacting. This method in portraying reality in a most convincing manner, not just to tell a story to an audience, but to make the story an experience. I admire how they're very adamant, both Stanislavsky and Antoine, and passionate for what lies within the integrity of the director. You cannot create a director is born, Stanislavsky states, while Antoine would also debate that without the director, we wouldn't hold such a grasp on the story we're being told. Comedies would be misunderstood, tragedies wouldn't be taken seriously, which all goes back to what we've been discussing in class. That the director is required to understand and determine when, where, and why the story is being told. It's essentially like traveling 4 different dimensions to present the director, his audience, a theme. Stanislavsky and Antoine have led me to pretty much realize that a director makes the action of a play a purpose, which elevates its authenticity. Stanislavsky, I think, in a lot of ways, talks under the impression of patience when serving as a director. While he doesn't address the subject directly in his segment in our Directors on Directing book, the implication is highlighted throughout. Like on page 111, he says, "I try at first not to give any words at all. All I need is the plan of the action. Therefore, the actor realizes where he is going and why. A certain line of action must mature within him, which he begins to feel in his body. He reaches a moment when he must act for the sake of something, in which case is a huge influence on this belief that one must create an actor's company. The plays and the theater will follow up as a matter of course. He can get the actor full-fledged, and this is discussed on page 109. Essentially, Stanislavsky is stating that even though you're a director, you're still learning. It's not a matter of pushing creative ideas and forcing them to work, like we've discussed many times before, but rather a learning experience on account of the director's journey to understanding the text and why we're telling the story in the moment. Same goes for scenic designers and actors. The director does direct, yet he also leads. One of my other favorite quotes that I found on Directors on Directing, he says, director, he will not know how to drink a glass of tea unless he knows where he came from and why. And I guess that can apply with actors as well. And moving on to Antoine, he kind of jabs at the same notion. However, spends more time discussing that on page 91, that experience is the best teacher. Directing is an art that has just been born. Nothing, absolutely nothing, prior to the past century is with its theater of intrigue and situation, led to its flowering. This is where all those location and prep choices come into play. Literally. Rather than just understanding the script and where the characters are coming from, like Stanislavsky puts a lot of his time into, Antoine dives into the methods of directors cooperating with actors on the stage, thus expanding into, different theater exercises we use today, to prepare how the character feels, behaves, and make it totally justified in the moment, in its full authenticity. One thing that I really appreciated that Antoine mentioned on page 100 is that the movement is the actor's most intense means of expression, that their whole physical makeup is part of the character they represent, and that at certain moments in the action of their hands, their back, and their feet can be more expressive than any oral ranting. That every time the actor is revealed beneath the character, the dramatic continuity is broken, and that by emphasizing a word, they often destroy its effect. So Antoine and Stanislavsky both had pretty much the same ideas, but it looks like Stanislavsky put more focus into patience, learning as the director, while he's cooperating with actors and scenic designers, whereas Antoine puts more focus into the idea of experience, which I think is correct in many ways. It's the same deal with writing. Write what you know is what all my English teachers have told me. This idea of experience and elevating that into creating what you desire, thus creating a real, authentic, and purposeful story. So that's all I have for today, discussing Stanislavski and Antoine. I'm sorry that this is 6 minutes long, but I had a lot of fun. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the video, and have a great night. Take care.